Hi everyone, my name is Ashraf and I'm in Washington, D.C.
Hi everyone, my name is Aleya and I'm in Nairobi, Kenya.
Hey everyone, it's Shohil. I'm from Melbourne, Australia.
Hello everyone, I am Sohil and I am from India.
Who would say they are an optimist? Who would say they were a naughty child? Who here was bullied as a child? Who here played an instrument as a child? Who here went through a phase when they didn't like their own name? Who here went through a phase where they didn't like their own skin color? Who here had dreams in which they could fly? Who here had dreams in which they would be famous one day? Who here remembers money being an issue growing up? Who here can cook? Who here is hard on themselves? Who here would say they're funny? Who here would like to be more spiritual? Who here knew what they wanted to do when they were a child? Who here was a good student? Who here would like to travel more? Who here makes a great cup of chai? If you could have chai with anyone, who would it be?
I'll probably go for Barack Obama, just to find out his struggles and coming from a background which inherently wants you to struggle to achieve anything which even simple in life. So I just wanted to see how he went through it and how he achieved it.
It's funny, as I was making my tea, I was thinking, I'm having green tea, and I was thinking about how chai and nasta was such an afternoon ritual in our home. But after my grandparents passed away, we stopped making the thermos of chai. And I was like really craving being with them and thinking about there's got to be a word for the name when you really just want to lie down with your grandparents and just like experience that like simple, just unconditional love when the world is chaotic, nothing else matters except that one little moment. So it would be them.
Today I'm having rose petal and cardamom chai. So I have a very deep background with chai. I worked at Unilever, so we had tea tasting as our department, and I used to work there. So I was able to taste tons of chai. And I think being there, I think I developed that connection with myself. So I would have my chai with myself. It's just that moment that this chai gives me where I could reconnect, think about everything that's going in my life, project what I want to be, reiterate why I'm doing what I'm doing. So it's a lot of things that I'm able to do when I sit down with my chai.
Two people I am thinking as of now. So one is not available, unfortunately, and he is Mahatma Gandhi. Yeah. So he inspires me a lot through his act and through his work, what he has done for our freedom. So one is one is Mahatma Gandhi, surely, and the second is what this person is giving me all my current mindsets. So I'm thinking of that person is Peter Diamandis. So Peter is basically a scientist and he is running SpaceX and he is also running the X Prize Foundation.
What is a challenge that you are facing right now in your own life?
I think it's a more of a migratory challenge happening at the moment where we're living in Australia and the world is kind of converging to United States, especially our community, where everyone's thinking that if you want to do the best and be the best and hang around with the best and achieve the best, you have to be in a different country, and United States seems to be the country where everyone wants to go to. So I've got friends who have moved there already, I have myself moved from India to Australia. I'm very happy here, but you still, that's something which is grappling us as a family now. That should we move, or should we are happy here, or should we just continue living here? So that's kind of a challenge that we are facing at the moment. What to do with our life, in terms of the next step in our life. Are we happy where we are, or should we go and look for another location and try out?
In Kenya right now, we're in a sort of in-between state. There's been a lot of dissatisfaction about the current state of affairs and kind of rising protests. It feels like we could be in the midst of a revolutionary moment. And as somebody who I think likes to plan forward and, look ahead way in the future, I'm being tested because really you can only take it one day at a time. There's so much uncertainty. And so it sort of feels like you're on, those bridges, the suspension bridges, where you're just kind of doing that. And like the next day you just don't know what's going to happen. And the next day you don't know what's going to happen. And I think perhaps unlike Shohil, I'm very certain that inshallah my roots are, I feel clear that this is where I want to be. But as we can see with anywhere in the world, you can have desires for yourself and that could change in a day.
I am an artist, I'm a fashion designer, and I'm trying to bring my roots part from Pakistan here. And every time there is a political change or, I've always struggled with having that focus on representation and having that focus on slow fashion and sustainability, giving my artisans the avenue so they can change their lives and combat poverty. Whatever happens in Pakistan, whatever happens here, it's all connected to what I do. And that just that up and down and that challenge that I face day to day is just, it's just, I think I should write a book on it because it's different every day. I get to hear things like, well, the airport is closed, or, there's additional customs or something because it's coming from Pakistan. It has that red flag. So it's not just me. I'm trying to change a lot of things for a lot of people. And that requires a consistency and commitment. And I think reinforcing that every day when you wake up is, something that can be called as a challenge. It's not like I'm running away from it, but it's just something that you give yourself energy and say that this is why I'm here and I need to continue doing it.
Health. So, COVID tells us that if you are not taking care of your health, whatever knowledge you have, whatever ability you have, you can't be, you can't do anything. So the first priority in your life is to take care of your health. So currently I'm focusing most, even no money, no career, everything comes later on. First, you need to focus on your health. Then only you can be, you can do anything, or maybe you can focus on other part of your life, even spirituality. If, as your question one asked, that how many of you are spiritual, so spirituality is also come once you have the ability to at least go to Jamaat Khana, and for that also you need health.
What do you see as your role in the global economy?
I think not a very big one, but definitely in the automotive industry, the challenges that it goes through every decade. My role is probably to get the group who trust us with their data to find things for them and to stay ahead of those challenges before they happen. Look at the data and analyze them and find the trends in them before it actually happens. Accounting is always spoken as if it's an industry which lives in the past. Every time you speak to an accountant, they always talk about, oh, last month we made so much profit. Last year we made so much profit. It's never about the future. Yes, we do budgeting, but you always try to compare it with what you're doing compared to the budget which you did in the past. So everything is in the past. So the challenge in the global economy that we have now, where everything is so quick to change, my role for my group of people who rely on me for their reporting is to find things before they happen and to be on top of it.
So I do two different things. I have a family business where we have a samosa company. So I come from a lineage of samosa makers. My grandparents built their family one samosa at a time, hence my little. um, and the business stopped for a while and then resurfaced again. We kind of revived it in 2019, and we kind of found a commercial kitchen, registered in March 2020. Great time to start a business. Um, but funnily enough, I think what happened was that people were really, when you can't see each other, we found that people wanted to share samosas with each other as expressions of love because they couldn't be physically present. And what we're finding with this business that is now kind of 5 or 6 years down the line is that it's a very local business right now. And I think that there's a lot of power in that. And in the way that we're affected by the global economy is really supply chain. So when you look at packaging, when you look at those kinds of materials, that's how we're affected. And especially when you look at a currency that is very much at the mercy of the US currency and very much at the mercy of the International Monetary Fund. And so you end up being very much affected by the global economy whilst not necessarily contributing to it in a way that feels meaningful. My other role is I'm a writer and a performer and a co-founder of a content studio. So we tell stories for African women to feel seen, heard, and beloved. And in a way that I think it plays much more in the global economy because more and more I think Africa is being looked at as a market, an audience, really. People are interested in the continent as an audience. And to make stories that are locally relevant and locally beloved, there's a lot of interest in that. And you aren't as much at the mercy of, whether the material will find its way on the ship through this, through the seas. All you need is kind of you and your creativity. And I think more and more we're seeing the role of kind of the creative industry in the global economy. So in some ways, one business feels very much affected and impacted by it, and the other one feels like it's actually kind of held buoyant by the global economy.
To me, the challenges are very similar especially when you're trying to start small and make that impact, and you start from your own community and you want to do so much, but you are faced with adversity along the line, and then you always question yourself. You had one of those questions, and if you have ever doubted, I think they all, I'm sure in one point or the other, everybody doubts, what are we doing here? Is it something that we were meant to do? We just get one life, so we have to make sure that we make the most of what we're supposed to do at maximum capacity utilization and things like that. And you're using your talent. So going back to what Aleya said is pretty much relevant to what I do. And using the terms like women empowerment, lifting up our community, starting small, all of those apply to me because I'm trying to have that sustainable fashion stay sustainable, and doing something a different way, presenting things that are slowly and sustainably and handmade, giving the artisans still a way out to use their talents, the crafters who have easily been replaced. First we were talking about machines, now you're talking about AI. It's very hard to figure out what is authentic and what is not. All those challenges are part of fashion. And going back to your question of world economy, fashion is one of the biggest industries, and the amount of waste and the amount of overproduction, the amount of challenges we have there, where in some countries are thriving because of it, and countries like Pakistan, being in the subcontinent, so rich in cotton and other crops that are like leading crops, that can be so useful for a country, still being wasted and not able to get to the markets where they can be appreciated, is all the things that we as small businesses are trying to do. I work with a small community in up north Pakistan, 100% Ismailis. The impact is not like, okay, I'm gonna impact 100 people tomorrow. It doesn't happen like that. But whatever happens is deep rooted, and it's something that, I'm after 18 years of being in the business seeing now. So it's something that gives me pleasure, and I hope it's impacting, again, very small, but it is impacting world economy one way or the other.
So I'm very optimistic about world economy, and my impact to that is because I am a business coach and a consultant to entrepreneurs. When I help one entrepreneur, he grows or she grows whenever his business grows and he gives so many employment to many people. So when I help one entrepreneur, it is actually helping 10, 15, 20, or maybe 100 people. So if in a year, maybe if I am helping 20 entrepreneurs, so my impact is multiplying. So that's what I see, that whenever a businessman goes down or he closes down, there are a lot of people who lost their job. But if I can help one single entrepreneur, maybe I can help more people to get the job and employment.
What is the most fulfilling part of what you do, the path you've chosen? What is the hardest part for you?
They're both related. The most fulfilling is the most hardest. So the fact that I'm able to get into a region which was untappable, unreachable, and have an impact there is the most fulfilling. I would take you back into the floods of Pakistan 2 years ago. And they impacted, like we talk about rain and hurricanes here in America, and everybody's following it, and all the aids are reaching there. It's the opposite of that. There was nobody telling you what is happening. There was no reach. They had areas and areas, especially the areas I work in, with small workshops that I had built, all gone. Homes gone. Everything was gone in that floods. And the way the community reacted here, the people who have been with me for this long, being my customers, my supporters, you can call them anything, they reached out to me and said, how can we help? This was not an NGO effort. It was not something on the media. It was not a fundraiser. It was just something genuine, people coming in the front and saying, how can we help? And we created this small channel of getting the goods to them, getting, rebuilding. We employed the local workers, the local labor, get them the raw material that they needed from around the surrounding areas, so they don't have to, they just don't have to sit and wait for aid to get to them. They started working the next day as soon as they were able to find pockets of time where the rain had stopped, or they were able to tap into that time, and they rebuilt. It's been 2 years. We are still rebuilding. We made everything from scratch again. I was able to, whatever they made during that time, the funny part was, the fulfilling part, coming back to that, I was showcasing at New York Fashion Week that year. And I was able to tell that story on that stage with everything that went, the 12 looks that they were able to create in that short span of time, the commitment and the fact that it was for them that I was doing. And I wanted to make sure that everybody who asks me there, media people, models, whoever, I was able to tell them where this is coming from. And I think that part is fulfilling. Every outfit has a story. It's not mass produced. When you wear it, you can go back. Just the way the chai cups take you to those moments, clothes can take you there too.
So most fulfilling. So one of the projects that's closest to me is a children's podcast called Kabrazen. In Kiswahili, ka means small and brazen is bold. And it's stories of brazen African women reimagined for little ones. So in Kenya, the context that we're in is that, very much your imagination is shaped by a very Western pop culture. And a lot of our heroes have been hidden from us. So you grow up with like Coco Melon on your tongue, but not knowing Mekatilili Wamenza, who, was started an uprising at the age of 70. Our rich history is really kept from us, and that's part of our colonial history. And, myself and my two partners are all aunties, And we wanted to make sure that our little ones grow up with the understanding of the incredible legacies that they belong to and what the unique kind of cultural history that they're a part of. So I think the most fulfilling is we'll do these live shows, so we'll do live storytellings, and just watching the little ones recite the stories back almost word for word, like correcting us. And so it's just, I guess I love this idea of creating little like subversive revolutionaries, and really like watching them love the stories is the most fulfilling for me. I think the most challenging is that, again, in the Kenyan context, we had a dictator through the 80s and the 90s, and one of the big things he did was completely decimate the arts. So a lot of writers and playwrights were exiled, and arts was completely turned into essentially propaganda. So when we got rid of him, we had to start from scratch. So kind of building an artistic ecosystem from scratch. And what that means is that a lot of the times you're fighting to even prove your value or your worth. And that's hard to do when you're always fighting to say this is an important thing, this is why it should exist. And then I think the other thing also is that, a creative business, you don't have an existing business model. You're kind of just figuring it out along the way. As a samosa business, it's very clear. You know how to cost. All you got to do is sell the samosas. The creative industry is completely different. And so it's both challenging, but actually, like Ashraf said, also kind of fulfilling when you do crack it. It's a good feeling.
What's most fulfilling? With everything that I'm doing, I think the most fulfilling part is living in a good country where you can have a good work-life balance. We work hard. There's not a lazy country in Australia. I think the fulfilling part is you work hard when you're in the office or you're doing whatever you're doing, but you get the rewards for it. I can live close to Jamaat Khana. Thank God that, and we can go to Jamaat Khana every day. The family, we can spend some family time together. So I think the most fulfilling part of my life is to work hard, but at the end of the day, enjoy why I work hard. Live in a good country, work hard, keep progressing, keep my kids in the same belief system that you are living in, and mashallah, thank God, I think they are following the trend of being self-centered in a way that you want to achieve the best for yourself, but then be selfless at the same time, where you have to go and give seva to others as well, and contribute and give what you have in any small way possible, and keeping myself in seva at the same time is also a challenge. So I've been connected with REC for 30 years now, so I want to keep that going. I don't want to leave that. So I've achieved every level that you can achieve in REC, in whatever level, but to keep it up, to continue with it, is always a challenge with everything around you. Your kids are growing up. There's more need of you in the family, and there's your parents are getting aged, so there's more commitment on that side. So I think the challenge is more emotional and more other thing than economical in a way. I think that's it. The most fulfilling and the most challenging are so connected to each other that you want to maintain where you are now. And I'm in a very happy state, I can say that.
The fulfilling part is when you see someone growing with your help, with your support, is the most fulfilling part. So working with the Economic Planning Board of India, I have developed, we some of our colleagues were there. So we developed Maro Vyapar Mari Pragati, and it was super hit program for Economic Planning Board. And when I went to a small village delivering that program of Maro Vyapar Mari Pragati, so there was a small store of, like, selling the groceries and the other stuff. And that person came into that program and attended that program. And when he went go And then suddenly someone told me that he grows his income at least 3 times. So I was very happy. So I went there to see what he has done. So the major changes, whatever we recommended in that program, he did that program. At that time, maybe his income will be not more than 10,000. And after that program, it goes around 20-30,000. So at least double, triple incomes he made, he was able to earn. So that was the very fulfilling part for me. Like, of course, if Allah Ta'ala give you some knowledge, and if that knowledge sharing is helping someone's quality of life or someone's income, and that is the most fulfilling part for me in my life. The challenging part is the same, when you need to make lots of efforts to make someone realize, to make someone understand that, dear, you need my help. Because make them understand that whatever I'm saying, because they don't want to take the help, maybe, or maybe some mindset or whatever issue, but making them understand that is no harm to take the help, no harm to seek help from others, is the most difficult part. To make someone convince of is like, is very difficult. But once he convince, and if he follow the whatever you say, or whatever you give them as a knowledge or advice, and then they grow, then like it's a satisfaction for lifetime.
How does being an Ismaili impact what you do?
For me, being in a Ismaili and thinking about what that means and how to live life, both according to the ethics, but also kind of the philosophy and the way of being, is just a through line in everything I do, in every decision I make, in every way I interact with people, but also my relationship with the earth, with nature, my relationship with myself. It really is just as present as the air that I breathe. And I think one of the most beautiful things about being an Ismaili is we have this wonderful philosophy, we have an incredible community. There's also this, Hazrat always talks about how he wants us to be happy. And it sounds so frivolous, and it's so but when you really think about it, how beautiful it is to want happiness for yourself and for each other. And what does it look like then in a world that can sometimes feel overwhelming? What does it look like to be able to know that there is happiness available for you, and to kind of journey through life, exploring and understanding what it looks like to be happy, even in whatever circumstances life presents you.
Being a smiley is not just something religious, it's a lifestyle. We just don't get guidance on when to come to Khane and what to, do in Khane, or what to eat. Or not. Just look back at the same question you asked everybody else just previously. Work-life balance that Shohil mentioned, being happy that Aleya mentioned, being fit that Sohil mentioned, doing what makes you happy is what I mentioned. All of that has been in guidance, being a smiley. So, in a nutshell, it's not just a certain religion. It just doesn't stop there. It is a lifestyle change.
I think I agree very much with Ashraf. It's a lifestyle. So when you're born in the Ismaili community, obviously your horizon of looking at things is already so wide, because you benefit from the vision of Hazrat Imam to begin with, but then you have all the institutions below them who help you think more than what you see in the world. They expose you to ideas which you will never hear about if you were part of any other community. Everything, living in a country where we are living now in Australia, where coming together is costs money. You come to a cafe, you go to somewhere, to a restaurant. Coming to Jamaat Kara, absolutely free. You come there, you can be yourself. You don't have to pretend to be someone else. It's a fantastic community to be in. You just grow by being part of the community.
And being an Ismaili, what Sohil said, the Ashraf says, and everyone said that, that that strongness from inside that, okay, Allah is with you, Imam is with you, and they know better than you. So that thought, that courage, that confidence, everything comes when you are Ismaili.
The Forcha experience has been great. It was good to know and understand and learn about cultures, people from different parts of the world. I have been lucky to be part of the program, and the way it was organized, it was good to get the views, how people can think about the same thing in different ways.
I was incredibly fortunate to be on one of the episodes of Four Chais. It was beautiful to connect to other spectacular individuals from all around the world. Lovely to connect, lovely to chat over a cup of chai, and it was just amazing.
It was a really amazing experience being a part of Four Chais, and it gives me really feel of a global Jamaat.
It was such an inspiring experience to be part of Four Chais, and I just can't wait to watch it back and be re-inspired anew.